Do it again.
I did not know that you. No, you're good. You don't have to do it again.
My name's Jesse Danger. I'm co-founder and director of the Movement Creative. Been training parkour for 15 years.
My name's Mike Arujo. I'm from Queens, New York. I've been doing parkour for 14 years, and I'm currently the head coach for the Movement Creative.
My name's Orlando Alicea. I've been training parkour for 10 years, and I'm currently an instructor here at the Brooklyn Zoo.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Gallant. I've been doing parkour for about 15 years, and I'm currently a parkour instructor here at Brooklyn Zoo.
So the word parkour comes from parcours du combattant. This is military obstacle training. Before the French military adopted it, we can trace the origin right to a volcanic eruption in 1902 in Saint-Pierre, Martinique. George Hebert was helping to evacuate people from the island. He noticed that the local people's way of training and living was more effective at preparing them for a natural disaster. People were running, jumping, climbing, balancing, swimming, and he compiled that and a few more movements, lifting, carrying, self-defense, into Method Naturelle. And through that practice and through the adaptation of that practice, the French military developed obstacle courses where you had to work on all of those skills.
My name is Sahara Gibson. I've done gymnastics for about 12 years, and I was on the team at Temple University.
My name's Michelle Morisano. I did gymnastics for about 15 years, and I was on the gymnastics team at Rutgers University.
My name is Ayana Lee, and I have been doing gymnastics for about 15 plus years, and I was on the Rutgers gymnastics team.
I'm a little nervous, but I'm also very excited to learn parkour today. Gymnastics can be very regimented, and I feel with parkour it might present a new opportunity to run around and be a little bit more free with the movement.
So the first challenge we have for you is to try to stick a jump. For that, we'll be working on a technique called the precision landing, which is landing precisely on something and being able to stop there. Before you can connect movements really smoothly, it's important that you have the control to stop yourself wherever you are. We're trying to land gently. We're going to be on the balls of our feet. I want to go into the precision landing position a little bit, and you guys can try this now too. And here, now I'm squatting down, keeping that same tension in my posterior chain. Well-engaged Achilles, well-engaged through my calves, up through my butt muscles. Just like that. One thing, it can be natural to try to balance with your chest, but see if you can balance with your knees and hips.
You get more balance when you bend down. Like everything is closer to your center that way.
Right.
Do I have to stick the landing?
Yeah. The thing you're imagining right now is that this is 30 feet high, so you have no option to just step off one direction or the other. You need to be right on that edge. You need to have control.
Got it.
No pressure.
Now that you've mastered all the experiments that we tried on the ground, we're going to have you try to put your skills to the test in a more of a real-world environment.
Go off the building.
Oh, darn.
Nice. Nice.
I feel like we were kind of taking it easy on them, and
Yeah.
they definitely impressed.
Feel like they could do a railing.
Even if they don't do a railing, it's impressive to see. They definitely have the control for it, and that's really nice for day one.
Yeah.
I was very nervous, but I think once you kind of just like let the fear go away, you kind of just like jump and it works out how it's supposed to. At least it did that time.
The second challenge we have for you is a Kong vault or a cat pass. In gymnastics, I think this is closest to the Hecht. So this is a vault where we dive out, place both of our hands up, and then hit ourselves up and through so we can keep running.
We do something similar when we like jump the beams, but it was very fast and their feet went through their arms, so I'm not sure about that part, but we'll give it a try.
I mean, I have short legs and I'm still nervous to cut through this.
Yeah.
With the hips, you guys all got your hips up. If I'm here, it's really hard to get my legs through. I don't even know if I can. So I have to get my hips up to be able to get some space. So now, this would be the next place you try. If you're not comfortable, you go up.
And then you work on that clearance, you just get over a little bit more.
So a part that's scary is you guys worry about clipping or falling, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I like to do is make sure that I'm pointing my toes up. If I point my toes down, it like can laser guide my action into this. Does that make sense? But if my toes are pointed up, even if I mess up, the balls of my feet will hit this. I can bounce back as opposed to just toes down, landing on this, falling forward.
See, that's not something we're used to.
Go ahead.
Guys.
Okay.
Just focus on getting
Hi, my friend.
I'm so scared.
Yeah.
Try to see if you can be really gentle on top, really quick on top with your feet.
Okay.
See how little you need your feet on top,
Okay.
but they can still be there.
You watch them when they're coming out on the other side, their arms are like behind them, kind of in this like eagle position. So just that little bit extra pull will send their feet right over.
Go Mees! Yeah!
This kind of a move especially, there's so much of a fear factor involved with it because a lot of people aren't used to going into that position, to lifting their hips up and getting like almost parallel with the obstacle. But once they broke it down and just kept on repeating everything, they picked it up like they've been doing it for forever.
Personally, I think the biggest thing for me was the position of the exercise. It kind of felt uncomfortable and something that I'm not typically used to.
When you see a certain skill, it looks complicated and it looks like, you have to be able to do it. And then when you actually do it, you realize how much your body knows how to do it.
Third challenge we have for you today is the LACHE. In French, LACHE means to let go, and this will be a release from the bar. To test our control, we'll be trying to release into a precision landing. So we get a bit of a swing going, and then we release, try to land with control.
Similar to a dismount from gymnastics, so I think we got this one.
Yeah.
The only thing different is how in parkour, it looks like they're twisting their shoulders, and that's not something we're used to, so.
You can climb up. Yeah, there you go.
Just double way out.
I feel like you all went past our taste line here, so like we could definitely move this block back and you could do a bigger one, I think.
And that's one of the things in parkour. I think there's less of this idea of like, can you do it or not do it? Rather than like closed skills, there's open skills. So there's always like another different LACHE. Can you be more technical with the landing or more powerful with the technique?
hit this.
They should be landing straight.
You want to be like landing in a ready to move position. So here rather than like here.
Great job.
That was pretty perfect.
Usually, there's more apprehension towards throwing yourself and letting go because you're afraid to land on your back.
I think there was more apprehension on our part of like being ready for how ready they were. It's like, wait, oh, no, you're okay, you're fine.
I think one of the things I was considering is that they have a gymnastics background, and I've seen people from gymnastics trying parkour. There's often a little bit of a stiffness in their swings and in their landings, and I feel like they were like really controlled, able to adapt, able to push the distance a little bit more, land nicely.
I think comparing the two sports together, when it comes to swinging specifically, parkour has a little bit more of a raw style. Gymnastics, often they're keeping their shoulders and their hips like pretty square as they do their movements. For different reasons in parkour, we're kind of usually letting our shoulders and our hips come out of line for whatever reason may be. So it looked like they were a little uncomfortable with that, but after a few turns, they got more comfortable and we were able to push the block back and increase the distance, and they were nailing it, yeah.
I think the goal initially was to land on the black line, and I don't think any of us did that, so that, like, trying to aim for that was a little difficult, but other than that, it was a familiar motion.
Mobility is a little different, but the actual movement of dismounting from the bar to the block was pretty similar.
So the fourth challenge we have for you today is to be able to take some of the flips that you know already and see if you can do it off of something. We also do some flips a little bit differently, so we're hoping to see you notice the differences and try it our way. So the movement we'll be working on today is the WEBSTER. This is a back heel drive, so arms drive up, chest up, and coming over in a front flip and landing.
So in gymnastics, we do a very similar skill on the balance beam called a front kickover, where we land directly on the beam. And this skill in parkour, the WEBSTER, is a little bit different because you land off the mat.
Yeah, they killed it. I had a feeling this one might be an easy challenge for them since flipping's a big part of gymnastics, but we were hoping that the different setup for the flip and the environment, having to go off of a ledge and everything being made of wood around them, would kind of like throw them for a loop. And I think there was a little bit of hesitation, but ultimately I think they were in their element pretty hard there. So yeah, they killed it.
What I really like about that, and what you can see a lot in parkour and free running moves, is you saw their style come into what we decided to teach them. Whether it be like breakdancing, skateboarding, whatever art you come from initially, you can see that translated through parkour. So it was a lot of that gymnastic flair in their WEBSTERs as they were doing them. Once they got their confidence levels up, they got cleaner, they got smoother, they looked cooler, and they did them better than we did. So that was really cool.
I think they crushed it. They looked like they were a lot more comfortable than I feel doing it, and I tried to pick up little technique notes that I can work towards.
I think that move was really fun. We definitely were more comfortable with it because I think it was the most similar to a gymnastics movement.
This is my favorite exercise or challenge of the day. I think it was the closest thing to gymnastics and what we're used to, and I was really excited to just flip around and be able to flip off the wall and try to get back those landings again. But overall, it was a really fun time.
Now that you've tried a bunch of the different techniques, we're going to see if we can put them all together into a line. And that line will be starting with a precision jump, going into a cap pass, then jumping into a swing, trying to land that swing right into a flip. I think the way it's set up right now, you might be able to do it better than us. That was awesome. I'd love to see you add a cat pass into your run. Here or here. That could be over or onto the wall and continuing. Okay?
Yep. Cool.
I think today went really well. I think the gymnasts were all able to pick up the technical details of all the skills. I think the transitions between the movements could be smoothed out a little bit.
I thought today was super fun. It's always a good time to share the skills and techniques of parkour with people who enjoy movement, especially when it's a slightly different movement practice, because they can take the skills and techniques and use them in a slightly different way, probably a way that I wouldn't think of. Yeah, the girls killed it today.
I think oftentimes with gymnastics, we're all trying to hit this like perfect 10 or hit this perfect routine, and oftentimes it does look similar. The only times we really get to like show our personalities, like through our dancing, or whether you're like a more technical gymnast or like a more rhythmic power gymnast. But with parkour, no one will do a certain obstacle course the same, so you kind of can see everyone's like unique style and rhythm when they go through the motion.
It was fun to watch them like explore the environment and kind of do it the way they think they should do it instead of the way we're telling them to do it. Because essentially that's what parkour is. Like, you move through your environment how you think it's safe and efficient. So watching them explore that was the best part for me.
I think my favorite move, or the coolest one, was to see Mike swing from the different bars and kind of incorporate the gymnastics moves that I know into parkour, and it was really crazy to see him do that.
It was really cool to see Mike do two skills that we do in gymnastics and then do this crazy jump over to another bar and land on it.
And I think the easiest skill was probably the flipping at the end, just because it was something that we know best.
I really like the LACHE off the bar and then do the WEBSTER after it, and having it be like two distinct motions but able to do it together.
Watching the way that they incorporated their style into WEBSTER's made me look at my techniques and think, wow, I should probably clean my stuff up and make it maybe even look a little bit more gymnastic in its execution as well.
I think the hardest might have been the cat pass, just because the movements are so different from gymnastics and the technique was different.
The hardest part for me was the precision landing, just eyeing the spot that I have to land on and then getting there in a safe manner. It wasn't always so easy, but I think once we got into the rhythm of it, it became a little bit easier.
I think what was really reinforced for me today is if you connect with the foundation of movement that people have, that they're able to pick up the skills that we're teaching them a lot easier.
I think everyone should try it, especially if you used to be a gymnast or you want to just try something new. I think it's definitely something everyone should try.